Hi, everyone. Lindsay LaShell, Open Lines Marketing. I got a great question from someone in my network who asked about the role or the tension. How do you respect your elders as an asker? How do you delegate to people who have more seniority or on a personal level, right? Like, can you ask your grandma to do something for you? Okay. Here's I want to tell you just a little story about how I got here. So the first job that I had where this was really relevant, I was 18, my first job that I got when I got to college. And I was a volunteer coordinator. I was an usher at the Performing Arts building on campus. And so my job was to get 8 or 10 or 15 free, like, volunteer ushers at this theater to get everything done, prep the theater, the front of house before the show, serve the attendees, right? Serve the patrons while the show was going on, and then clean up and pack up afterwards. And so that was, like, distributing programs and taking tickets and all that kind of stuff. And my job was to train them and supervise them and then make sure they had whatever they need to do a good job so that everybody who showed up to the show had a great experience. And they were volunteers, and in exchange, they got to see the show for free. It's great deal. But I was new to that particular context, right? I hadn't spent a lot of time as a volunteer. I hadn't spent a lot of time in, like, classical performing arts contexts. And most of these volunteers have been doing it for years and years and years. Many of them had been volunteering in this theater for as long as I have been alive. And so one of the very first things that I learned to do in order to enlist their support and their engagement in getting the stuff done was to ask them, build consensus on what needs to be done. Ask for their input, ask for their expertise, ask for their experience, and then layer on top of that your specific needs, requests, wants, so that it's all contextualized in what are they bringing to the table and what are you bringing to the table. And when you tell the story that way, then again, it's way more collaborative because you get to the what needs to be done together. And then the only thing that you need from them is, like, is that a thing you can do, and by when? And at that point, they're, like, bought into the thing because they contributed to it. And so it's quite easy to get them to say, like, oh yeah. Or, I mean, those volunteers had some opinions. So sometimes you'd have to negotiate. Hey, listen, I know you don't want to work with this person. Do me a favor. Fine. Right. But in general, if they help build the to-do list, they're going to be way more likely to want to be the ones to do it. So that's my advice when it comes to delegating and respecting your elders. Okay, good luck. Happy delegating.